Alright, boys and girls, have I got a treat for you all today. This here is my new to me 1968 Firebird. I picked this thing up last week, really haven't done much with it, just drove it home and parked it. Let's go over it, shall we? Alright, I turned it around here, ran it up on a ramp so that I could crawl around on it, look at it and inspect it a bit. I don't really have a good history on this car. I bought it from a guy who bought it from a guy who inherited it from his brother, who was a auto body man. He was a body man, and he rebuilt the car. I don't exactly know when. As I was digging around on it, I found a piece of newspaper up in the fender well with some overspray on it. That's from was May 23rd, 2014. So I assume that's whenever it was painted, at least. I would imagine that it was kind of built and painted at the same time. The car is in really great shape. There's no rust on it anywhere. It's got a Pontiac, I believe it's a Pontiac 350. I haven't run the numbers on it yet to know for sure, but it's definitely a Pontiac engine. Power brakes. It's got discs in the front, drums in the back. It's got these ugly wheels on it, and don't really like those. I'm going to be fixing that, as well as the back tires here dry rotted and cracked pretty bad, so I'm not driving it much. Just a little bit around the neighborhood here to get a feel for it. It runs good, it drives good. The body's nice and straight on it. If you take a look at that right down there, if you can see, lines are nice and straight, nice and smooth. It's all in all, it's a really great looking car. It's got all original interior on it. Actually, this door is locked, so we're not going to get in this one. But over here, like, it's got all the right trim in all the right places. It's got deluxe door panels. They've got a little whoopsie on them there, but that's not too bad. A little bit back here, but I mean, these are, I assume, original door panels, original seats, console. It's got a 2-speed power glide automatic, set of gauges, AM radio, a little heater action there. Gauges. The gauge says it's got 24,000 miles on it. The gauge also says miles per hour, but I'm pretty sure those are kilometers per hour. It's got this extra needle on the speedometer here, and there's a little knob down here, right down here, and if you turn that knob, that second needle spins around. I don't know what that's for. If you know what that's for, hit me up in the comments and let me know. Anyway, this thing is quite the cream puff. Real sharp little car. I'm real happy with it. I'm real happy that I got it. I can't find anything wrong with it so far, other than the windlace, the stuff here on the passenger side. It protrudes too far and the door doesn't shut properly, so I've got it pulled off there for right now. I'm going to play with that and see if I can't get that to fit in the right spot so that the door will close properly, but the door shuts just fine with it off there. And yeah, as you can see, the door's shut real nice. Gaps are pretty good. Let's fire this baby up and see how she runs. Yeah, she fires up like a charm. It's got a nice little low rumble to it. All right, you want to go for a cruise? Sure you do. Damn, that's sexy. Man, oh man, do I need to clean up in here or what? This place is a pigsty. Got junk laying everywhere, every which way. However, I have already cleaned up a little bit. I took the empties back, and that's like half my garage floor. Part of the cleanup process is putting this thing on the rotisserie so I can turn it on its side and wheel it out of the way. Now, the jacks are awesome for raising this thing up and down whenever it's on the rotisserie, but to turn it on its side, it needs to be somewhat centered, right? So the center of gravity for the car has to be near this pivot point, right? So in order to do that, I've got to raise this part here, and in order to do that, I use the cribbing and little bottle jacks. I could get by with just one bottle jack, but then it'd have to be sitting right on top of the cross piece here, and it's just way easier this way. So I'm gonna raise this up, get it kind of centered so that I can turn it over easily. I've just got to jack up the back a little bit and get it nice and level, and then I can do that. All right, got her turned up on her side and pushed over in the corner. She's gonna live there for just a little while I polish up some wheels. Look at these babies. Here's some original US mags, slot mags. They're 15 by 7s in the front, 15 by 8.5 in the back. They've got 3.5 inch back spacing, and they are in desperate need of a cleaning. So I'm gonna take these guys and clean them up as best I can and make them worthy. Now, if you look closely, they're not too terrible. Yeah, they've got some corrosion and some pitting, just kind of lightly on the front sides anyway. Here's one that's flipped over, one of the fronts. Fronts are real bad. They're pretty bad on the back side. So what I'm gonna do is hit them with this here is a it's a Lot Fancy surface conditioning disc. A little box of these came from Amazon, pretty cheap. Yeah, and they come in 3 grades, but I don't know which is which. They're supposed to be fine, medium, and coarse, but they kind of all look the same to me. So I'm going to hit the back sides of those with that and clean that up just a little bit, and then get to cleaning on the fronts of them as well. Now, that Lot Fancy disc worked really good on the flat areas, but kind of inside the barrel here is a little too roundy round. So I used clean and strip disc. It worked really great. Here's kind of the after. It's fairly nice and clean. Here's the before. Fairly dirty and gross. The clean and strip was working so well that I flipped over this front here and started working on it with it, and noticed that I scratched it up pretty bad. So to remedy that, I've got all these little 2-inch sanding discs of various grits from 80 all the way up to 2000. So I'm going to be working on that, going over this with ever-increasing grits until I get it nice and shiny, and then I'll try not to do that on the rest of these. But let's get to working, get the backside cleaned up, and then we'll do something different with the front sides. Let's do that. Okay, after I worked my way up through the grits from 180 to 2 something, 180 to 240 to 400 to 600 to 1000 to 2000, and then I went over it with this little guy here with some of this stuff here. This is Meguiar's metal polish. Ran that over it real good. Let's wipe this off and see what we got. Well, scratches are just about all gone. It's looking pretty good. It's not quite as shiny as I thought it would be, so I'm going to go over it with some Mother's here. Get some Mother's polish. Let's see if that makes it shiny. Alright, I went over it with a coat of the Mother's, and the tarnish was still really bad on it. So I broke out the big gun, pulled out the WD-40, and that cut all the tarnish off for the most part. You can see it's a lot shinier now. So now I'm going to go over it with the glass cleaner, clean it up with glass cleaner, and then I'll do another round of the Mother's and see if I can't make this baby shine. I'm using this Walter FT100 foaming stainless steel and glass surface cleaner. It's a nice foaming cleaner that's probably got some ammonia in it, which will cut through the greasiness of that WD-40 and give me a nice bare metal finish that I can then polish up. Let's do it. Alright, I think I'm done with it. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's a lot better than it was. That's what it looked like. And that's what it looks like now. So now I've just got 3 more to do, and I want to get them done tonight because first thing in the morning I'm getting tires put on these things. Let's get busting. Okay, now that I've learned what not to do using the clean and strip disc on these wheels, I'm gonna do what I should do, which is, a buddy of mine told me about this Walter Power Cleaner 100. It's a rust and mineral remover plus brightener, and you just spray it on the wheels, let it set for a little bit. It'll start activating on the corrosion, and you give it a little wipe with a Scotch-Brite and it should come out nice and clean. We'll see how they do. Okay, after a little soak time and a little scrub time, they came out pretty clean. I didn't get right in there all that great. I mean, I did a bit, but that's tough to get to. But I think they look all right. Let's take them inside and polish on them a little bit. Well, I'm done with them for now. They're a lot shinier than they were. They've still got some nicks and scratches in them. There's one there, and there's a couple there, but I'm tired and I don't want to deal with that right now, so it's good from afar. Don't stand too close, and they'll look great. Anyway, I'm gonna go to bed. Well, I piled all my junk in the backyard here so that I would have room for a 2-car garage. I put the wheels and tires on the Firebird there yesterday. Went to Cal Tire in the morning and got new rubbers and put them on here. Sorry, let me finish eating. It looks good. I like it. They like it. Rubs a little bit just on this front mud flap here, but I'll probably take that off just whenever I turn, like all the way. Then it gets into that, but other than that, they fit pretty good. Car's looking good. I'm off to the KMS Tools show this morning with it, so I've got to get moving. But there it is. It actually fits in the garage with the other Camaro up on its side. So anyway, I've got to run, but I'll catch you later. Boy, she sure glistens in the sun, don't she? Here's that rub that I'm talking about. I don't know if you can see in there, but just a little bit right there. I think if I take that mud flap off, I might be all right. All right, so we're home from the car show there. I didn't video anything at the KMS Tools second annual car show here in Calgary, simply because I was kind of busy walking around, talking to people, having a good time. It was a really good turnout, a lot of fun, a lot of cool guys to talk to. Wheels looked pretty good, still need center caps. I talked to a couple guys out there, kind of what they did for center caps on these slot mag wheels. Anyway, got it home and noticed that I had a fuel leak. The fuel pump's right down there. You can see that that fuel line coming out of the fuel pump going up to the carburetor here, and it's a steel line up to, see, there's the fuel line there, and as we follow it back down, there's a hose clamp right there, and that hose clamp was just a little bit loose and allowing fuel to spill out of there. So tightened that up. It seems to be working just fine now, so I'm gonna take this out for a little rip. Okay, I'm back from test driving this thing with the fuel line fixed, and yep, it didn't leak at all, so that's a win in my book. It did, however, it rubs on this little mud flap. There was a little splash guard here, and you can see where it's kind of, the tire rubbed on it just a little bit. And I think it's because that fender bolt right there is pushing this thing out, and it's making contact with the tire whenever I turn it all the way. So I'm gonna pull this thing off here. I'll set you guys up on the tripod here, and let me know if that rubs. Yeah, I don't know if you could tell from your angle, but this tire was going to be rubbing against that bolt head, and I figure rubbing against this smooth plastic is a lot better than rubbing against the bolt head. These are 225 6015s, and I've seen cars at shows, first gen Camaros and Firebirds with 225 6015s, but I figure that these have 3.5 inches of back spacing versus, and I don't know whatever other people are running, but I figure it's got to be at least 4 inches of back spacing, which brings the tire in more so that whenever it turns, it doesn't have as wide of a sweep. And that must be how they're doing it. Since I don't have another set of wheels, I've ordered a set of 205 6015s for the front, and that should take care of this rubbing issue. It'll be an inch shorter, but I don't think that you'll really notice a whole lot of difference between the 225 and the 205. On the back here, I've got 255 6015s, and I really like the way that they look. As far as, you know, fitment, they stick out just about as far as the fender does, but not really any further, and I really like that. I think that looks great. Kind of sporty, kind of 70s muscle car look to it. I mean, it's not too wide. I wanted to go with a wider back tire, but I think those will do just fine. Moving around on this thing, the tail light here, this one here doesn't work. There's actually two on either side, two here and two there. Well, this one here didn't work, and I was investigating it, and it's because the one of the ends on the pigtail kind of broke off there. So I went ahead and grabbed a new pigtail to put on it. Now, I was playing with this thing and it wasn't working, and I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you, you silly thing? Put a light bulb in it, you know. The light bulb works outside of it. There's continuity between the wires and the contacts in there, and you can see where they're rubbed a little bit. What the problem was is those contact points down in there were too far down. So whenever I'd push the bulb in, it would make contact, but whenever it's seated in place, it would not make contact. So what I had to do is get a little pick tool down in there and pull those up just a little bit. Now it makes good contact. Now I can wire this thing in, and then I'll have all 4 taillights working here. So let's get that done. All right, we've got all 4 of the taillights working now. I'm real happy with it. This thing's got a little bit of a transmission leak, and it needs an oil change real bad. I'm taking it to Classic Performance in the morning, and they're gonna do all that stuff for me just because I don't have time. I'd like to do it, but just don't have time, and I'm kind of limited on space, so I'll outsource that. Anyway, I'm gonna end this video here. Hope you guys liked it. This here's my Firebird. I dig it a lot, and I'm gonna be cruising it around to a few shows and stuff for the rest of the summer, so keep an eye out for it. Cheers.